Hello, my name is Katasha Brown, and I will be discussing my presentation of findings for my Week 4 Capstone project. The person I chose, her name is Alexis Brown, and she's the author of Solid Ground, a book of poems. Alexis was born and raised in Hobe Sound, Florida. She graduated with her bachelor's degree in English from the University of South Florida. She released her first book on February 22nd, 2018. And when she's not writing, she is a teacher at a preschool for 2-year-olds. My introduction to findings was the fact that her book sales were low due to her lack of promotion and social media presence. She didn't have that much followers on both her Instagram and Facebook. She was not a user of Twitter at the time, and her accounts really didn't have a high volume of traffic before and after the book release. The purpose in the study was to identify why the book sales did not increase, and also just the development of the traffic on all her social media accounts and how to approach her target audience. The secondary research was for Alexis to establish what worked for her and also to create content that catered to her target audience. The main goal was to increase her traffic and also communicating with her target audience. The method. So when it came down to recruiting for her target audience, it more so geared towards African American women between the ages of 22 to 32 years of age, and we focused on a more smaller demographic, which was 250 miles within the Florida area. So we had chose around 50 African American women randomly through the filter option on Facebook. So we basically focused on the age, the demographic, also the education level, and we had notified all the women that we had chose through Facebook Messenger. The procedure that we had went through was contacting them through Facebook Messenger and asking if they would like to participate in a essay style questionnaire. 23 women out of the 50 had responded back stating that they did want to participate. And after receiving the 10 questions, only 9 women sent back a completed version. The data was reviewed by 4 graduate level women, and the results were basically determined based on the answer that was given. The results. So there was 9 participants, and out of the 9 participants, only 5 of the women had gave a detailed response to the questions. And also, one of the questions that were important to this was a question that was asked was whether gender or race played a part in the purchase of any books that these women had, purchased. And 66.67% of the women said yes, gender and race does play a part in what they read. Um, and 55.5% of the women who took the survey stated that they would rather read poetry that was based off of um, real life situations or nonfiction biographies opposed to reading fiction. The infographics that were made were based on the genre. Well, the one on the right side was based on genres that women preferred, poetry being the highest percentage. And it's based off of nonfiction poetry, something that's more relative to, love, race, just anything that was nonfiction. The one on the left side is just the difference between written poetry and spoken word, which are 2 different types of poetry. And the conclusion, we concluded that meeting face to face with participants could be more beneficial and more personal than writing them on social media or contacting them via any type of social media or email. Just because you can get a more personalized response from somebody if they're, more comfortable with speaking to you. And that's only within a closer demographic. Um, Also, interacting with the target audience seem to work better than just randomly focusing on, um, you know, just questions or asking questions. Um, and that was basically the conclusion with that. The secondary survey that we decided was focusing on multiple choice type of surveys just so it can be easier to um, analyze the feedback, and also conducting a focus group with three or more women within closer range. And also to broaden the demographics to focus more so on, a broader spectrum rather than just a 250-mile radius. More so like nationally opposed to regionally.